Good morning, everyone. This is Edward Gillenardo, your local church organist. Today is Tuesday the 4th. It's not Sunday, it's not Saturday, and there's a special reason why I'm at church instead of at my day job on a Tuesday. Well, the reason is because we finally have our technician coming to do some repairs on the organ. And I need to be here to open up the church, and then also I want to study what he does, so if this ever happens again, I can do it myself and we don't have to make any phone calls. So anyway, he's due here in about an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of practicing, and then in an hour when he gets here, we'll go ahead and start recording, and you get to see the inside of the organ, see how it works, and see what we do to repair it. So you be a part of all this. So anyway, hello, I'm back, and he gets here. Our technician is here. And what was your name again?
Hi, Grayson from English Audio Repair.
Grayson from English Audio. I'm going to put a description below to if you need to contact him. He does work with not only consoles, but also with amplifiers and sound system. So give him a call if you need him.
Thanks, Ed.
So what we just did was we opened up the organ. As you can see, the back of the organ, we have one keyboard up, and he's looking underneath it. And remember, I talked about those fingers, and here are those fingers right here. And as the organ presses a key down, it takes that bar and pushes the contacts down into that bus bar, which is going the whole entire distance. So that's what we need to clean. So we're going to take a look at that, and you're going to come along for the ride.
All right, this major fender was E4.
Yeah.
Here, let's just take a look. See, it looks okay.
You know
It's
what?
got some dirt there.
Yeah, I think that's what the problem is with that one is the dirt. Look how this one's all bent out of shape though.
Yeah, I think it's ready to trigger without you playing almost.
Yeah, that's the other problem I get is with the chimes. When I hit one of the chimes, what we'll do is it will strike, and then it'll strike a second time when I let it go.
Yeah.
Now that's dirt, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it could be a bad contact.
Why is that disconnected? Oh, that must go to something else. Okay.
Look like your neighbor. Bit of alcohol.
I don't know if I can see it. Oh, look at that dirt. So I bet you that'll make a big difference just as it is. So why would those two be so close together? Or is it just...
I think they're just redundant.
Oh, okay, so they're just stuck in there.
Pretty sure. Let's turn it on. Let's go ahead.
Switch
and
is
turn
over
it
there.
on. And might as well check them as I go. Check them as I go.
Yeah, the swell is over there, just board and 8-foot work. Down bottom in the middle. There you go.
Don't forget the
Yeah. Yeah, they're half the other keys. Yeah, organs are done in half steps now. Probably what I'll do is this part of the video, I'll high step it.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of speeds through it. So I don't think anybody's going to want to sit there and watch this for the next hour.
What are you talking about? This is thrilling entertainment.
Well, now we're on the choir, bottom keyboard. Oh, here, this would be a better one.
Right.
Well, all that needs to be clean. You have to have a lot of patience to do this, which is probably why we brought him here. Well, I'll tell you, it's nice how they conveniently put those bars right in the way. You can't get around them. I guess you could remove one if you needed to.
Yeah. I mean, generally, this is still very serviceable, in my opinion, compared to modern electronics. It'd be very difficult.
Well, for which one?
Modern electronics.
Oh, modern, yeah, everything's digital. The cherry switches and reed switches. Actually, reed switches aren't that hard either, because all you have to do is you adjust the magnet to be lined up right. That old Allen organ that we had, that's all it did. All it had was all the keyboards were all reed switches. Last one. Can you get to it? Yahoo, yippity.
All right. Cleaned them all. Very recently. And
Yeah.
while it works great, the little screen is the most frustrating thing. And
You know, and then it gets hot. This thing really gets hot if I leave it on too long.
yeah, we're just swapping a light bulb here.
Yeah. Yeah, so what was it? The Great to
Choir
Choir to Great 8-foot light bulb was burned out. So there's this one stop it's all the way at the end here, which puts the solo on the pedal, and I barely ever use that. So what he's going to do is he's going to replace the bulb from that stop and put it on the Choir to Great stop, which is one that I use all the time. So he's just soldering. The bulbs are hardwired, so he has to desolder the whole entire bulb. All right. Looks really cool. All right, are we ready to test it?
Yeah.
All right. Power's on. And we have a light. Oh, wrong one. Yep, there it is. Yep. And does it work on the, and it works on the piston too. Awesome. We have a working organ. I'm very happy. Okay, now we got to put this thing back together again. The organ is all put back together. That's much fun. And it's been totally cleaned. Everything works. The notes that I was having problems with, all work fine. Beautiful. So, special thank you to the card turn to Grayson English. He is with English Audio Repair. I will put the information, you'll see it probably over my head here. If you need help, he specializes in audio systems, amplifiers, and he does do work on certain consoles. There are some consoles he won't touch, from what I was told. You can get with him on that. But if you have problems with your organ console, pipe organ console, or your digital console that has the kind of key structures that I have, he's a good person. He's very meticulous. He took care of everything. He took his time. He didn't break anything, and he's probably laughing at me right now when he watches this. So I think since we are so technical in this episode, I thought maybe it would be a neat idea to talk about the organ itself and about different organs, not just this one. But first of all, before I do that, this is remnants of what he cleaned out. It took all of that. That is why the keys wouldn't work. All that dirt and grime, corrosion, was all getting on the contacts. And the contacts weren't making contact with bus bar, which is that metal bar you saw underneath the keyboard. It grounds everything, so when I press a key, you hear it. So, organs are, now this is going to be for beginners, I would say. So if you're an advanced organist, this part of the video is probably might get even boring for you. So if you want to stop now, I can understand it. Or if you'd like to just hear how I say things, that's up to you. I'm happy to have you one way or the other. Speaking of which, I would like it very much. I would be very appreciative to you if you like and subscribe this video. This video channel, Local Church Organist, it's not going to get anywhere unless I get subscriptions. So what I'm really trying to do, and it's not my ultimate goal because playing is my ultimate goal, but I am getting older. Eventually I'm going to have to retire from my day job, which means that I'm going to be living on Social Security and whatever 401k plan I can get out of what I'm working on. So having these videos as a supplemental income would help, and it would help me be able to give you even more videos. So please like, subscribe, leave comments. I love comments. I read them, and sometimes I'll even reply to them, depending on what, if it needs a reply. So okay, so organs. There are several different kinds of organs. This particular one is a digital organ, okay? And all that means it's really an electronic organ. However, the sounds that it makes are not produced electronically. They are produced from memories of actual pipe sounds. So somebody went out to a pipe organ, took a sample of a 8-foot principal, recorded it, and then when I play this, you are hearing the recording of that pipe, okay? That's a digital organ. Now, some organs are, like I said, electric, total electric, or what we would call an analog organ. And that is that the actual sounds are produced using circuitry, using capacitors, resistors, transistors, and mixing different sizes, different strengths of those will give you different timbres. And when you produce them as an output. That would be what you would basically call a synthesizer. Now, a synthesizer is an analog instrument. And it's all of the sounds are produced using envelopes, using inductors, capacitors, and when you mix the two, you get different pitches. That's electronic analog organs. Okay. The other kind of organ, of course, is the world-known pipe organ, and that is that for every note that you have on the keyboard and for every stop, there is a pipe. So this organ has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53 stops are on this organ. So for every stop, there would be 61 notes. And some of them are an octave higher or an octave lower, or they have a secondary rank. The celestes, the mixtures, they all have added pipes to give it that timbre that it needs, or the effect that it's driven through. Those organs are driven by air. Okay, so what you have is you have a wind chest, and in that wind chest, which is filled with air using either a bellow or a wind blower, you have all the pipes that are for that rank. So if I push a rank of pipes and turn it on, that wind chest is now powered up. And when I press a note, it will open a valve and let the air out through that pipe, or a set of pipes if it's 2 rank, or like this is a 4 rank. I have here a 4 rank mixture, and what that means is you have 4 pipes, okay, that actually work each note. Okay, so that's that. That's a pipe organ. Then there's what's called a reed organ. A reed organ, they date back to the 1800s. You see, they're the ones that have all that ornate styling around them, and they're usually pumped with your feet. So instead of pedals like you have on a regular organ, you have a pump, and you're pushing like pedals on a bicycle. And as long as you're doing that, it's blowing air. And instead of going through a pipe, it goes through a reed, and those reeds are all tuned to specific pitches. And there are multiple stops on some reed organs, but most of them are just one sound. Those were used primarily in the 1800s. A lot of old Western, Southern churches had them back in the turn of the century and in the late 1800s. The piano was found out later to be a lot easier to use, a lot less to keep up with. So now, different consoles are used to operate different organs. All right, this is a digital console, and it's actually a full digital organ. But some pipe organs, they use either digital consoles that would actually operate just like this one, but instead of going to memories, they actually go to translators that go to a system that is up somewhere where the pipes are, and then that translates it to span out to wherever the pipes are. Some are what's called electro-pneumatic. That is that the air comes into the console, and the air is driven to push things like the pistons. It still uses electrical contacts for the keys, just like this one does, but the action or the registrations are use air to actually push the pistons in and out. That's electro-pneumatic. Okay. And then you have what's called a tracker organ. Okay, and those consoles are mechanically, physically connected to every pipe. Okay, so now on this console we have what's called draw knobs. Okay, you pull a knob, it turns on. You turn it on, you push it, and it stops it. Okay, that's why they're called stops, by the way, because it stops the sound. See, if I play a note, let me come down here this way. If I play a chord, you hear nothing. But I have to pull a stop, and you hear the noise. You hear the sound. And if I push it, the sound stops. Hence the name stop. And that's where the saying came, pulling all the stops. All right, is when you actually turn on all of the stops. Now these are drawn knobs. Some organs are what are called rocker tabs, and this does have some, and they're up here. These are rocker tabs. So when I push down on the bottom of it, it turns it on. When I push the top of it, it turns it off. Some of them are sounds, like this one is the 8-foot festival trumpet, or the flute. Okay, and then some of them are couplers. So what these do is these couple one keyboard to the other in a certain stop range or a foot range. And we'll talk about feet in a minute. So that's called rocker tabs. Then there is the, which you usually find on theater organs, like the mighty Wurlitzer. And here's a picture of it right here. Okay. If you notice on there, instead of rockers or draw knobs, you have finger tabs, and those finger tabs sit like this. And then when you push down on it, it turns on the stop, and when you push up on it, it turns it off again. So those are finger tabs. So that style of console usually found in theater organs, and they have a different sound. Classical organs have basic sounds. Theater organs sound more mellow, dramatic. See, I can mimic it on here. Here's another one. That full tremolo, the tibias are the classic theater organ stop that you would hear on a theater organ. So now, when we get to sounds, each one of these stops has a purpose. Okay, so looking at here, all of these stops work on the choir. So we have 3 manuals: choir, grate, swell. So all of these control the choir. All of these control the grate, which is the middle keyboard. All of these control the swell, which is the top keyboard. And then all of these over here control the pedals, which are down there. Okay, then on this particular organ, we have what's called a floating solo division. Okay, these are solo stops. When I turn one on, if I don't press anything else, it will automatically go to the swell. But I can also move it. Here, I'll put it on the pedal. Now we just pulled the lamp out of there and put it over here because that lamp was burnt out, but it is on. I'm playing it on the feet. Or turn that off, put it on keyboard 1, which is the choir. See, it's not there and it's not there. Put it on number 2. It's not there, it's not there. Turn that off and it's automatically up here. Not there, not there. Next to that, we have what are called the couplers. Okay, this couples one keyboard to another keyboard. So here I have, these are all swell to choir, one for 4-foot, 8-foot, and 16-foot. And I'll tell you about the foot in a minute. So anything that's up here can also be played down here. So that means I could take the bassoon, 16-foot bassoon, press choir to swell, or swell to choir, and it'll play down here. Okay, and then if I want to do it an octave higher, I can do it that way, or an octave lower, I can do it that way. Now the lowest note on there is C1, 16th note, okay, 16th foot. So when I go one down, it goes back up 1 octave. So this octave is duplicated to this. It doesn't go down another octave because the number of pipes only go down that far if it were a real pipe organ. Okay, so now we were talking about feet. An organ is designed to replicate a vocal choir. Okay, in a choir you have four main sections: the bass, the tenor, the alto, and the soprano. Then you have seconds, or what's first soprano, which is the ones that I call them supersonic sopranos. They're the ones that are way up in the stratosphere. And then second bass, which live way down in the dungeon in the basement, and they live down there. And that's where they sing. So the organ is designed to mimic that. So when you see an 8-foot stop, that is designed to mimic a tenor. If you see a 16-foot stop, like here's a 16-foot principle on the pedal, all right, that's designed to mimic a bass. Then you have the 4-foot, let's see, the 4-foot, okay, and that's designed to mimic the altos. And then the 2-foot is your sopranos. All right, so now what we'll do is we can combine these. So we'll take an 8-foot, a 4-foot, and a 2-foot. There is a 3-voice choir, okay? That is called a principal choir because it is all foundation stops. We can make a flute choir, 1, 2, and we don't have a 2-foot flute here, but I do have a 2-foot flute over here that I can couple to it. Let's see, swells great. Oh, yeah, swells great, yeah, that's right. There's your flute choir. Now, if you add the 16-foot, you get the full range. So I have here, this is, what you'll hear in here is flutes, a little bit of foundations, which is your principal, and that's it, those two together. And here is a full choir. So there's your full choir. Now, the stops themselves, or the sounds that they make, are classified in basically 4 groups. Yeah. So the first one is the flute. Okay, those are the pipes that look like wood. They're usually wooden square pipes. Those are gedek, and that would sound like this. Yeah, like the cuckoo clock. Let's see, cuckoo clock. Let's see, here we go, cuckoo clock. Okay, so those are just kind of like a whistle. So those are flutes, and there's your 4-foot. Okay, and then you have your the other classification is your basic foundation, which is your principals. Okay, those are the organ sound. These pipes are made out of metal, and usually they're the ones that you see. If you have a facade that's playable, usually those are principal pipes, usually. Then the third type, actually there's 5. The third type is the reed, and usually these are your trumpets, hautbois, bassoon, anything that you would play a reed through. And the way they're designed really is not like a regular pipe. They're not really whistles. They have an actuator at the bottom that has a reed in it. When air shoots through it, the reed vibrates. And the size of the pipe is what gives it its pitch. And then you can fine tune that pitch by shifting the reed in and out with this little hook that kind of goes on the inside of it. I've had some dealings with that in the past. So those are your brassy, loud, sometimes obnoxious sounds. Here's one. That's a 32-foot. Okay, that would be like a double bass, 1 octave below regular bass. And then there's another classification called strings. Okay, now when I say strings, I don't mean orchestral strings like this. Where is it? Here it is. violas are this, okay, in an orchestra. Now the strings on an organ actually are like the viola celeste or the gems horn or the Alzare celeste. That's another one. These are all string, and then I also have a violon, 16-foot violon. Okay, so those are string. Now there's one more type of pipe which is not just one pipe. It's usually a mixture of different pipes. That is anything that you see that has more than one rank. So like the Furniture 4 is 4 ranks, or 4 ranks of pipes to make one set of keyboard. So that means that 4 sounds are actually playing in one. And what it does is it takes the foundation, I believe it's a 4th up or a 5th up, and then a 3rd up or something like that. But it creates that it gives it more strength. So here is a principal chorus with no mixture. And here it is with it. Here it gives it that more brightness. Okay. Other ones are celestes. The celestes use 2 pipes. So what they do is they take one pipe as the foundation or the root pipe, and then they take the second pipe and they detune it just slightly, and it gives it this wobble or celestial effect, or what I call a Doppler effect if you're a scientist. And you can hear that. Now what I love to do, the flute celeste is my favorite. That's a flute celeste. So now the thing is, what we want to do is we want to mix some of these together to create unique sounds. Okay, so, and that's where we use pistons. Okay, now the pistons, let's talk about pistons. Pistons are all of these buttons you see down here. They all have different functions. Okay, first of all, we have banks. We got 4 banks of memory. So if I'm on, now these light bulbs are burned out, but I'm on memory 1 right now. That means that I can have one set of pistons, and then I can switch to memory 2 and change everything to memory 2 and save what I had on memory 1. So what we have here first is the set, and that's where we set the pistons. We hold that down, select what stops we want, hold that down and push one of the buttons while we're holding it, and it will save it to that piston. Okay, so what we have is we have 5 here, 6 through 10 up here. These are generals. And what that does is it controls the whole organ. Okay, so as you see, if I push 1, you see how everything is lit up all the way across. Okay, 1 through 10, there's 10 of those. Then over here, in the middle, we have 1 through 5, 1 through 5, 1 through 5. These are divisional. That means it will change only that division. When I push them, it will only change that part and not anything else. So this way, if I have, say, channel 4 set up on general 4, which gives me a solo up here, and I want to change that, I can switch to 1, turn these off, and now I have a chime. But I still have my accompaniment from general 4. Okay, so that's what those do. Then we have special functions. That is a Zimbelstern, which I don't have, and a Zimbelstern really is it's a set of bells that are on a turntable. And these bells sit still, and then these little sticks spin around, and as they spin around, they start banging off the bells, and it gives us that, like, rain effect, and it just keeps going, and it's a nice light. You hear there, if you look up Zimbelstern and listen to some examples on YouTube, I'm sure you can find some. It has a nice effect. I've heard it used, but I don't have a Zimbelstern. So that button's there, so if I do buy a Zimbelstern, I can plug it in and use that piston. So across the way, we have swell to pedal, grade to pedal, choir to pedal. Now if I push swell to pedal, watch what happens up there. You see that? That turned on. So I don't have to reach up and hit that. I can just hit the button. So if I'm busy down here and I don't have time to do that, I can just go boom and hit it. Then moving over, we have MIDI on swell, or MIDI swell A and B. So there are 2 channels of MIDI. Now the MIDI is this black box. I've talked about this before. That's where we get all those fun orchestral and toy sounds that we like to play with from time to time. That's where I get my string sounds from. So we have 2 channels on the swell, 2 channels on the grate right there, 2 channels on the choir, and then 2 channels on the pedal, and those are over here. So I can do a full orchestra on the entire organ. So I believe, like for instance, this one is already set up. Oh no, it's not. Wrong one. Let's see. Let's do that. Now it's set up. Those are choir ahs. Okay, so and then the B. I don't know what's on B. That's a trumpet. All right. So and then we have choir to grate. So that does the same thing as that up there. See, I'm pushing the piston in, and it's turning it on up there. Then I have grate the pedal pipes off. Now if I had this on a pipe organ, some organs are hybrid. They're digital organs, but they also are part of a pipe organ. And they just have digital stops added to them. Well, you might want to have just the digital stops and not have the pipes, especially if the pipes go out of tune. Pipes do that because as it gets hot or it gets cold, the pipes will detune, and that's why you have to retune the organ every 6 months. One for the cold weather and one for the warm weather. So if it starts to get out of tune, you could just hit that button and turn the pipes off and just have digital. And then we have grate and pedal ancillary, which I don't have on. I don't have that. That's not even hooked up. The bass coupler, what that does is that takes whatever I have turned on here on the pedal that you would play down here, and it will play it up here on the grate. Okay, so but it will only go, that's, see, because from here to here is all the pedals I have. I don't have this pedal, so that's as far as it will go. So this way I can play while I'm playing this. So let me free up my hands here and show you that without my feet I can play chords and the pedals at the same time. Okay, so what that does is it brings anything that's turned on the pedal and copies it to the grate keyboard. Then you have melody on swell. Now what that does is it just does the opposite. Okay, so if I have something up here, so what you'll hear is the top note. The top note is the swell. The bottom is that only. Okay, then you have melody solo. So now what that does is it does the same thing, only it uses these up here. So I can turn those on and only hear the melody played on top using the solo. All right, so then this button over here, that's the red button. You don't just touch the red button. Just kidding. That's called tutti. And if you know anything about Italian or Latin, the word tutti means all, everything. So basically what that does is it turns every stop on. I've only used that once in a song, but this is kind of what it is. That's everything. So let's go up here now. All right, so after our MIDI, we have main off. Okay, so if you remember when a few months ago or so, I talked about the speakers. There are 6 speakers, 3 on that side, there's 3 up that side, then there's 2 more down here, the subwoofers, and then the antiphonals, which are up there on the wall in the back, okay? Now, I can turn the antiphonal on and turn the main off, and now the sound, so here I'm playing it, the sound's coming from back there, not up here. Now I'm going to switch it. I'm going to turn that off, turn the main back on, and turn the antiphonal off, and now it's up here. That's nice because I can add this effect of having the melody in the back and the accompaniment up front, or vice versa. And then we have flute tremolos. Now this is where we get the theater sound. So the flute, the one that says flute tremolo, will only work on flute stops. It won't work on anything else. That, and then the main tremolo is everything. Okay, it's kind of like it's going through a Leslie or something like that. All right, and then we have these over here, great pedal enclosed. What that does is, if I don't press that on and I play this, and if I close the swell shades down all the way, it still plays loud because it's unenclosed, okay? A lot of organs you'll see, they'll have these chambers and with little doors on them. And when you press those pedals in, those doors open up and make it louder. And then some pipes are outside that, so you can't really control the volume on those pipes because they're just unenclosed. Because pipes are either on or off. There is no volume on a pipe. You're either playing it or you're not playing it. So the only way that you can adjust the volume is to put all the pipes in a room and put these shades on the wall in the room, and as you press the pedal down, the shades start to open, okay, and it gives you more audio. So that's what this is. So what that does is it takes this and encloses it. So now, hear that? Now I can use my foot, okay. And then Festival Trumpet Enclosed takes this guy up here, which is the loudest trumpet stop, and encloses it so I can operate on the pedal. Solo Expression to choir. Okay. So what that does is it takes everything up here and puts it on the other pedal, which is beside it, the other pedal next to it, so I can adjust it with the choir. All swells, this is something I have never used and never understood what all swells to swell is. Here's your swell. If I press that, it still sounds the same. So I'm not sure exactly. I'm going to have to look that one up because I never used that. And then orchestra crescendo, this particular organ has this orchestral crescendo. Now what a crescendo is on an organ is this third pedal. Okay, now if you notice, I'm not going to turn any stops on. I'm just going to hold this down and I'm going to start pushing that pedal in. Now, however many stops I have, that crescendo pedal is designed to add more to whatever I have. So I had nothing, so that's what it added. Well, I can change that to an orchestral crescendo so it only crescendos certain stops instead of all of the standard stops. Now, down here below, here's the MIDI. Here's the swell to choir. That brings the swell down to the choir. Choir pipes off. I can turn just the choir pipes off. Choir on ancillary, which I don't have. Here's your pedal MIDI. And then choir to great transfer. Okay, so that's what this is what this does. Here's my choir, here's my great. Here's my choir. Now if I push that button, it switches them. So now I have the great down here and the choir up there. Ooh. So that's basically the stops on the organ. And what you do is over time you learn what stops sound good with what stops. And then you start building some nice orchestration. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Next episode, I'm working on some pieces right now, some arrangements on piano and organ, arrangements of Ave Maria. I'm working on 3 different settings. 2 of them are well known, and I'm just arranging it so that I can play it on the piano and the organ at the same time. So I'm working on that. Hopefully by next week I'll have it done. So, this is Edward Gillenardo, your local church organist. Please remember, like and subscribe and leave comments. I love hearing from you. God bless. Have a great week.